Hello, Julia Hartstein here again. I wanted to go over the toe tensometer. If you've never seen this little gadget, it's called the toe tensometer. And we use it for people who have bunions and other injuries in their feet. Of course, at this point, you're doing this when you're stronger in the body, you're not suffering a horrible pain going on in your feet, right? This is something that you do because they hurt, but you need to do something, kind of a thing. Not like, oh, I need surgery and then we're gonna pull this out. It's not exactly when I would suggest to use this. You wanna do other modalities that I've taught on here first. Your towel exercises. This I'm doing with your hand, but you could also do it with your feet. And 2x4 as well. So, not everybody has a toe tensometer, right? Look at that, looks like torture. So what I explain to people is try to get the rubber bands off of your broccoli, right? If you eat broccoli, and if you don't, I'm gonna get a broccoli and just get the rubber band. This one is a thinner one. I have gotten ones that the band is a little thicker this way and a little shorter this way. I just gave one to a client, as a matter of fact, because we had been working on this for one of her bunions. So you can use this the same way. So I'm going to use this, that way you have an idea of what to do. It's basically the same as that. You're going to find a seated position. Da-da-da. Preferably where your hips are in line with your knees. The best you can, preferably not something too cushy. This is a little cushy. If you can find something that's a little, that doesn't have as much give as a chair, maybe a bench or a chair from a dining room set. And you want to make sure that your feet can touch. You don't want to make sure that, you want to make sure that that chair's not so high that your feet like aren't dangling off of it, for those of my friends who are a little challenged in their height. And what you're going to do, make sure you're sitting a little forward. Powerhouse is in and up, of course, anytime we're sitting down, because the whole body is always working. And bring your feet out far enough where you feel like you could feel your heels, but lift your feet, or your toes, excuse me, a little bit easier, right? And try to make them even, because I can see in the camera. This one just wants to do all the work. Bully. So, right, you don't want your feet too far back. Can you see the difference in the camera where my ankles are further back than my knees? Bring them just a little forward. You can also do this sitting down with the legs out as well, but that would be harder than this. Start with this, and again, you can lift these probably about as wide as your hips. Depending on the person, if you're, again, a very tiny frame, you maybe open just a little bit more. I should be okay here. And you're going to take your rubber band, and you're going to put it on the inside of your toes. Now, for those of you who have bunions or ingrown toenails, you might want to put like maybe a little cotton ball in between the rubber band and your toe, depending, because if it jams, you don't want it to be hurting you while you're doing this exercise. And you're definitely going to pull your powerhouse in, because you might have to adjust your toes. So already I see this, and I know this joint on my big toe moves way easier than it does on my right toe. And so what you're going to do, lift your toes. And then just notice in your toes, like, do you aggravate one? Look, because I want to do that already with this foot, and this one's like doing nothing. So I have to hold this one a little bit. What I'm going to do is make this one work. And I'm pulling my powerhouse in as I'm rounding over. I should be a little bit more even, because Shari would kill me. And holding your powerhouse in, pull this foot open, and then bring it in. And pull this foot open, and bring it in. 2 more. You can do like 3 to 5 of these. And bring it in and let it relax down. And then notice I had to hold one, because that one, this joint, I don't think I need this as much personally, but there are people who do, and I definitely need it more on the one side than the other. So now what I'm going to do, again, pulling my powerhouse in to round over evenly, I'm going to hold this foot while I'm opening, because I don't want, you see how my joint will just do whatever it wants to? I'm going to help guide it a little bit and make this do the work. The whole leg up is really what's doing the work. Now, if you're doing this home by yourself, preferably if you're in a private session, your teacher would be helping doing this spot, so that way you could just hold this and then lift and do the work, right? That would be the preference. Oh, that's a lot better now holding though. It's not so open, although it doesn't look like it in the video. From here it does. And then again, it's a little better. Not too terrible for somebody to not have their glasses on to see what the video is doing. But hopefully you can see I've tried to adjust my toes so that it's not morphing past there. Now you can do that. You can also do both of them together and do circles, right? We can get real fancy. You can do it just on one side. Right? We can keep again making it more fancy. And then depending on how you want to work your feet, you can go into the second toe and do so. Depends on what your body needs and what your feet and toes are doing. See, because now look at that. I have to hold that one to do that, because you see how that one wants to do that on that side, the other side doesn't do it. This foot I can manipulate a lot more like this than I can this foot. This one does this, where this one I can do this. So this one needs a little strength in other spots that I'm not necessarily aware of in my body unless I'm practicing this more often. I'm doing this for you. Hopefully it will be helpful for those who have bunions. So just so you know, again, you would be using that to maneuver. I don't know if you can see I did two toes. And then you can keep working all the way. And again, you could do one side and the other side. In Pilates, we always work evenly. When you get more intermediate to advanced, I mean, really you work within your strong, beginner, intermediate, you do weak, strong, weak. But for those of you who are watching right now, unless you're moving into that, I would suggest working evenly. And yeah, but then you could do weak, strong, weak if you have one side more so than the other. Like if you have a bunion on one foot and you don't on the other. Some people have both feet, some people just have one. So I wanted to leave this with you. Let me know how you're doing. If you have this and you've tried it, if you've learned this from your instructor and it's helped you. It was very interesting to work with my client. She did notice just after doing the tensometer a difference. She's like, oh yeah, because this one foot would be her right foot. The toe, that's where the bunion is, and it was completely jammed against. And by the time we were done, it was just kind of touching lightly. It wasn't jammed the same way. So I highly suggest it. Let me know if you practice it or if you need any help troubleshooting. I would love to hear from you. And I hope all is well. I'll talk to you soon. Blessings. Bye-bye.